Welcome to the next episode of the Ecom Growth Show. I'm your host, Danan Coleman, founder of Ecom Triage, and I've got a very special guest with me on this episode. His name's Chris McCabe. He's known in the industry as ecommerceChris, and he's got some stories for us. Chris, would you please introduce yourself? Give us a bit about your background and what you're doing today.
Right. So I worked several years on the so-called seller performance teams at Amazon, unpopularly shutting accounts down,
Yeah.
taking listings down, sending policy warnings, basically performance evaluation and policy enforcement for several years. I decided that working there and doing what I was doing was kind of crazy, and I would rather be on the other side of the fence, helping people understand all the wonderful things Amazon does to seller accounts and listings and brands and so forth. I began assisting sellers with appeals and reinstatement work from suspensions back in 2015. I'm in my 11th year,
Yeah. Wild.
2014, but unofficially 2015 LLC wise.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so I dare say it was an easier time to get things reinstated back in those days.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest problems now is the difficulty for anyone, not just sellers, us,
Mhm.
people at Amazon trying to help people get reinstated. I would say now it is the most difficult time I've ever gone through as a consultant since leaving Amazon,
Really?
because of the nature of the types of enforcement they do. Yeah. And the rigidity and this concept of zero tolerance they say they're using to enforce policies or maintain suspensions. It's one thing to suspend a bunch of sellers, to give almost none of them a real path to get it resolved is the issue now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's always been an issue for me is first of all, um, about half the times I've had suspensions. Well, hang on a second. I'm putting it all in one basket.
Right.
So, um, suspensions, I've only been suspended twice and, but I've had quite a few products suspended for various reasons. And about half of them, I got no notification as to why, what was wrong, and then how to fix it. And when my account was suspended during the peak of COVID, we were on a rocket ride. We sell
Oh,
supplements, so we were on a
yeah.
rocket ride,
Yeah.
and then my account was shut down. There was just one day I couldn't log in. We had no performance notifications. We had no emails, nothing.
Hmm.
And
So they
uh,
didn't tell you anything,
no, we got
not
no
just the general
communication,
message. You got nothing.
nothing. And when I
Wow.
called seller performance, the response was always, "I don't know, your account looks great to me."
They always,
Yeah,
they still
I'm
say
like,
that.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
100% positive feedback for the last 12 months
Yeah.
and not quite the whole time, but I tell them like, "Well, it doesn't look great from my end. I can't log in. I'm suspended." And it
They
took me
never,
4 months.
4 months. All right. I didn't know you back then, so
No,
we didn't talk.
no.
Um, they never trained out or untrained them from saying those ridiculous. They still say that account health reps will look at appeals when people are suspended and they'll go over it with an account health rep, right? They call in. Um, a lot of times now, I mean, this whole year, I would say into last year, they'll say, I read your appeal, looks pretty detailed, thorough, looks great to me. And it's
Yeah,
like, okay, that's fine for you to say that. I appreciate the pat on the back. They keep rejecting it. What's the problem? Why does it look great to you and not so great? Oh, well, I'm not sure. We're not the ones who decide. So it's like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So this is like, you're the one who's assigned and designated to talk to us about it. You side with us, or you like what we're doing, or you think we're great. And the counterparts that you have on your own teams think we're not so good and we don't belong selling. Is anyone interested in bridging this gap, or do we have to do it ourselves?
yeah. So I didn't even have an appeal to do. I was just trying to
Yeah.
find out what was wrong, and I couldn't find out. And eventually I had to leverage a friend, uh, and And one day my accounts were turned back on and I asked no questions, but I
So it
never
was just a
had anybody.
mistake?
It was a mistake. Yeah.
Somebody accidentally shut your account off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, well, so here's the thing
For
is that
4 months.
yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing at the absurdity, by the way.
Oh, I know.
I
Look,
don't think suspensions are funny, just in case anyone's wondering.
yeah, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
it yeah, you have to laugh at the absurdity of it. Um, but yeah, and I never found out why that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, never found out. So this actually goes into a perfectly my very first question for you. I've prepared a few questions for you. So, you ready for question number
I'm
1?
ready for all of them.
All right, let's
Yep.
do it. What are the biggest changes in Amazon's internal management appeal reviews this year, and where are we going? So, what's changed when it comes to appealing this stuff?
And some of this probably changed last year and just fully developed this year, and really took form this year. But the two biggest changes, I would say, well, let's start with the easy one. There are no consequences that I can see for an investigator denying an appeal that should have been accepted. Now, people will say, well, they've been denying appeals for years. There's, not much of a change there. Um, they're denying most appeals. They deny appeals way more frequently and consistently now than before. If you go back a couple of years, people are still sometimes doing their own plan of action, like submitting an improvement plan. It wouldn't be routinely rejected if the plan addressed things. I mean, I used to consult people on tweaking their plan or maybe writing it from scratch, but if it was solid, if it addressed all of the criteria Amazon wanted to see, um, maybe they wouldn't accept it every time, but it had a decent chance of being accepted. Now they don't even want to read a plan of action. They rarely ask for them. Now they just say, not good enough, do it again. We're not going to give you any, they embrace this notion of, we're not really telling you anything about why you're rejected. We've gravitated from not saying much about why you were suspended to doing two things. We're not
Yeah.
going to tell you much about why you were suspended, and we're not going to tell you much about why your appeals are rejected. And those things did exist before, but nothing like this.
Yeah.
Nothing like this. And I would argue their default setting is rejection.
I've said that for years.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that working with Amazon, it's much like the government. I believe
Yeah.
that the first answer is always no, because that probably eliminates 70+% of their work.
Yes. Yeah, no,
It's
I can explain why. I
okay.
think we have so much data and so many years of experience now. We know the reason why. You're not going to get in trouble for denying somebody reinstatement. You're going to get in trouble for reinstating somebody for review manipulation or detail page abuse or improperly merged ASIN variations, whatever it is. You're going to get in trouble if you reinstate them based on their appeal, and then they go right back to doing it and somebody else has to kick them off. And then in the process, they look back and see who reinstated them. That
So,
you'll get in trouble for.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me that that the people that are supposed to help people are afraid of losing their job by helping people.
Well, they're worried about themselves. They're
Yeah,
not
that's what I'm
worried
saying.
about being effective, and they're not worried about you. They're worried about what can help me look like I'm working without really working. Well, I can make it look like I read something. No one's studying your retinal movements to see what you're reading and what you're not. All you have to do is splash a few basic annotations in. I mean, I used to do this all the time, right? I had to read stuff in the appeal, annotate, read, annotate. Then holistic decision comes at the end after you've done some reading, done some writing, done some thinking.
Mhm.
Now it's all push button. And they're trying to move through this stuff quickly. I think everyone knows about IPH now, investigations per hour. But whatever, you don't need to know much about that. Their default setting is when they open your appeal and they look at your account, they're thinking, I want to do this quickly. I don't want to have to work that hard or pay much attention. No one's going to slap my wrist if I don't do this appropriately. And I just have to kind of make it look like I gave them a chance. but I decided something was missing because that is 10 times quicker than reading the whole appeal. This is another reason why I tell people, like, don't make basic mistakes in your appeal in the first paragraph or two. Because if they see something easy and obvious that they can use to reject you
Yeah.
right away,
Yeah.
then they don't even have to read the rest of it. So that's one thing. The other big change from last year is this notion of zero tolerance enforcement or dispute only path of reinstatement, which is, unless you can prove to us that we made a mistake in suspending you, you're not getting reinstated. You can't apologize. You can't take responsibility. You can't lay out an improvement plan. Lots of times people don't even get asked for a plan of action. It's like not even on the table, not
Right.
even part of the conversation. It's prove to us with examples, data, evidence, and facts,
Mhm.
specific facts, where we messed up, where we screwed up, what we did wrong, then we'll reinstate you. And they'll just deny. Well, that adds to the denials 1,000%, because now you've got an easy way to if somebody sends it in and it's like acknowledging or admitting something and they should have been disputing, well, then you really don't have to read it, because you
Yeah.
could tell in the first sentence that they're not disputing it.
Oh my
So
gosh,
it's
this is a different
self-serving.
viewpoint to think of this from.
It's self-serving.
Yeah.
It's like when these teams are looking at appeals, I mean, when I was doing this job, years ago, I had to worry about like falsely or improperly rejecting appeals, because I was being graded on the quality of acceptance and the quality of rejections. And
Which is
people
how it should be.
actually, yeah, people actually did quality assurance. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit, I mean, I was doing hundreds of these a day. I got dinged a couple times, like, why didn't you reinstate this person? Looks
Mhm.
like everything was here. And maybe I had a justification and maybe I didn't, depending on the seller. Um, Same thing on the other side. You reinstated this person and they went straight down the tubes. Maybe their appeal should have been better. But we had conversations about this stuff and we had meetings about this stuff. And it wasn't just like, let's act like robots and move through the queues. Nobody cares about accuracy. Nobody cares about investigative quality. And just whatever happens, happens, because nobody's really, I mean, there's no scrutiny. Who's really monitoring what these guys are doing? If they are, and this is the result,
Yeah.
then we need a new way of monitoring what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
So then
yeah. Anyway,
yeah, well, that goes really well into my next question. What are the biggest mistakes sellers make these days when they are doing these appeals?
I guess the first one would be not understanding that you can't send a plan of action like the old days. There are some people who are just living in the past and they don't understand that was like 2-3 years ago. And they're not reading the whole message. I think they just think it's boilerplate nonsense and like, oh, we've done these before. And they get into like 2 years ago mode and they start doing a plan of action. And it's not even what Amazon wants. They need other kinds of info. So just things like that, not attaching things. A lot of times they ask for examples or evidence of compliance and people just write about it. Like in the appeal, they just talk about it, but they don't attach anything to
Mm,
show this is what we did on this date. This is what we didn't do that you think we did, all that stuff.
yeah,
So things like that. And then I don't know if this is as much of a problem this year as it was last year, but for a while, people were in love with like buying a template online and just filling in the blanks.
really? I didn't know
And yeah,
that.
I mean, we started using the term template mills because we didn't know what to refer to these. They call themselves consultants or services, but they were just template mills, right?
Mm,
Fill in the blanks. And these were extremely popular, I would say, in the 21, 22, 23 years. Not, Amazon caught up to this. They knew what people were doing. They recognized the templates. Like if you use a template that 100 people used this week and they all got rejected and you use theirs, why
yeah,
would yours work?
yeah,
Right? So they just stopped reading the templates. Again, it's the concept of don't give them an excuse not to read it. So if you give them a template, and I don't know what tools they're using to figure out the whole ChatGPT, they can definitely figure out if you use ChatGPT to write something, or I mean, ChatGPT, what is it? It's scraping the internet for appeal content, right?
Yeah.
From 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they can tell if it's old, they can tell if it's regurgitated or just reformulated, warmed up, threw it in the microwave type approach.
Mhm.
They don't read those. So sellers are still doing that. I think the good news is they're not doing it as much as like, maybe when we talked at like Prosper Show or something like 6 months ago. It's gone down because I think those just got rejected so many times. People stopped using it. And some of the companies that were like template mills or just copy and paste style, I don't see them as much around,
Mm.
posting anywhere, talking about what they do. I don't
See,
think, I don't think they're around.
I think I would think that Amazon would appreciate having a standardized template where all of the data that they need is in a structured format. Uh, if the template worked, it worked because it was that way. Well, let's be honest though. Uh, Amazon should be providing you with the structure in which they want the data.
They used to.
I know.
And they do for Seller Central appeals. But Seller Central appeals, everyone's appealing these by email now from the
Huh?
primary email on the account, because Seller Central appeals, they do have structure in there. They have some boxes depending on the type of suspension. But Seller Central appeals, almost all of them, I don't know, 75, 80% of them, you just get a generic copy and paste denial with no information on why it's denied. And then you have the the insult of having to call account health and having them talk to you in a very copy and paste generic denial way,
Mm.
where one team is kind of helping, they're kind of like helping the team that didn't do their jobs reading your appeal cover up by making excuses for them. It's almost like a propaganda campaign of sorts. It's kind of like, oh, we're going to make it look like we're listening.
Yeah.
And they do like listen. Part of their job is to listen, but they also do a lot of talking, which is just kind of like speaking in generic templates and generic advice.
So not actually being helpful.
It's the illusion of help. Which is the problem we've had with account health since the beginning. And in the middle of their history, they kind of improved a little bit, but now we're kind of on the downslope back towards the beginning,
Yeah.
where it's like, now this is a waste of time. Um,
I used to have
I don't know.
the phone number and extension of a girl in Arizona that I would call when I needed help. I knew I knew her children's names,
Wow.
and, like, we became friends, and she helped me with my account, It's like, "Hey, this, that, and the other. Oh, yeah, I just need you to get me this information." "Cool, I just sent it to you. You got it? Okay, cool. Yeah, you're good." And, yeah, I wish I understand there's a cost perspective to this, but I believe that Amazon makes more work for themselves by
Yeah.
making it harder, and that and not only that, not only they're making double, triple, quadruple the work, but they're also creating animosity with the people that flow them power in the form of dollars, right? And it's just beyond me why you wouldn't just provide good customer support. Like, they demand that of us as brand owners,
Hmm.
but won't do it themselves. But we won't go into that. Let's go into the next question.
Well, I think the short answer is they've spent years training sellers to kind of operate independently of them. So like you get basic, it's kind of like we have Seller University, we have some support pages, we have, links to policies, but you're kind of like what's there is there. You're on your own. Don't ask us to interpret more than we already have. Just make sure that if you're interpreting this yourself, you do it correctly. But we're not going to handhold. There won't be guidance really beyond the basics.
But
And then
I'm
if
just
we,
talking about
yeah.
support.
They don't, the short answer is they don't want to devote the resources to it. They don't want to devote the time to it. They want to standardize this in a way that they see fit, which is not going to be something that sellers would agree to or like.
Yeah, which is why we've
Yeah.
seen an erosion of the actual genuine help to sellers over the years. Now, I read something recently that says that they're going to be implementing a seller support AI,
Yes.
and I feel this could go way wrong in two different directions. It could go way wrong or it could go way right. If you have an AI that's fully trained on all of Amazon's guidelines in terms of service stuff, you might actually get better support initially for simple problems. But that's where it's going to end. When your problem becomes unique, you will get no help at all.
Yeah. And I wondered, is the future of AI that it gets sophisticated quicker or more quickly than we expect, and they surprise us by, oh, actually, they understand nuance and it's more helpful. This is my like the clouds are parting and we see blue sky. It doesn't end up being like generic automation is, and it ends up like, wow, you know what? We're actually getting more out of this than we were from many of the, especially the India-based teams, which, doesn't make you popular to slam teams that are regional for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, with account health services, for example, I've told people like, this is not, I mean, I've spent time in India. I had a great trip to India, not for work. I went
Mm,
there for backpacking,
mm.
and I would go back to India. I love the food. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Indian food's incredible.
But Amazon set themselves up to fail in India with how they do training, high turnover on all those teams,
Uh-huh.
how they did training, how the communication works. And this concept, which was big back when I was at Amazon, which is like, we're going to wind up this watch and just let it go.
Uh-huh.
And we're not going to do much tweaking after we set it up. So when people would train teams in India for this or that, without going too far down the rabbit hole, you would go over there for 6 weeks and immerse yourself in training them, and they would immerse themselves in whatever training you had. But you weren't really going back for part 2 after that.
Brings a whole new meaning to it's always day one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the goal from the beginning was moving more labor over there, reducing headcount here, reducing headcount in Europe. I was there when they were first talking about all this,
Uh,
and when they first started, because way back in the day, I think they only had teams in Bangalore or Hyderabad, not both, if
okay.
you go back far enough.
Yeah.
Um, and now, I mean, the base of operations. So the question becomes, are they just trying to replace all of those people with AI?
I think so. I firmly believe so. I
Yeah.
I hope though that they have a by doing that they have a better trained and better established escalation system where you can still get genuine help. Statistically speaking, they're gonna muck it up.
I'm hoping that instead of all these ridiculous emails that you send, I mean, imagine a process that's this anecdotal where you have to email like an executive to get a manager to read something.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
hoping that maybe in 2027-ish, they will be able to route these things based on some
Yeah.
intelligence around who handles what, who has track record of having managers really read things and really make business decisions that make sense. Um, Maybe that's too much to hope for, but even specific teams, maybe they'll develop like, well, Marty's really good at these kinds of escalations. So you're going to route all of those to him, but Mary's better at these types of escalations. And maybe they'll be able to riddle that out in the AI. I've been spending a lot more time. I mean, we all have, but I've been spending a lot more time on AI in the appeals process lately. And these are the types of things I've been thinking about
Yeah.
in the future. So
Well, Amazon will certainly go that detailed when it comes to launching their own product to put another small business out of business, but I don't see them doing that to help sellers. But I hope you're right, man. I really do.
I don't know. I'm going to stay hopeful on this, at least
I'm
just
with you.
because of the nature of AI, which again, I'm not an expert, but I'm learning more about it. Um, I'm trying to embrace this notion of like AI will learn quickly from its own experience
Yeah,
and its own work, to the point where what takes people 9 months to do manually will take 3 months. I mean, it's really just that kind of a notion.
I hope you're right,
So
man. I really do. All right, let's get on to the next question. We've got to wrap it up here in just a minute. So, what are the biggest challenges you face on your side when you assist sellers that have been taken down?
yeah, and not going crazy is the short answer.
Okay, good
Um,
advice.
but I mean, there's the basic things of, yes, this is high stress work. You can't get everybody back in 1 or 2 appeals the way you'd like to. Those challenges are always there. Some of the challenges I think that are avoidable are people need to do some research or fact finding, I think, before they come to us and actually know answers to some of our questions, maybe before we ask. And we still get a lot of surprises.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you're a
Fro-
baseball fan, but it's kind of like a wild pitch when you're expecting a fastball down the middle.
Mhm,
And we're like, where did that come from?
mhm.
And they'll bring up stuff that's really important for us to know down the road. And we have to, me and my teams kind of huddle up like, do you think they knew this before and they were just afraid to tell us?
Oh, got it.
I mean, we do have a sort of attorney client privilege. Like, you got to tell us this stuff
Yeah.
because we have to build a strategy for you. We're not just doing, some people think you're just buying a document from us when you hire us and it's a one
Mhm.
pager. Um, it's a strategy, and strategy means research and knowing the details before you start composing an appeal.
Yeah.
So those are the biggest challenges we have now, or they're just like somebody who doesn't know all the data and details is the one that we're talking to. And things get missed like that. And if we find them out after we've done 2 or 3 appeals, it's like, well, this makes us look like jerks to Amazon because we're changing our story now,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Okay. All right, last question, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna wrap it up. So what are the most crucial policy violation mistakes sellers make that get them into trouble? I'm really interested in this one, and we're gonna give a few extra minutes on this.
Yes. And we've been talking about this probably on chats and groups and whatnot a lot. Review manipulation is a big one, which we could talk about for 45
Forever.
minutes just by
Yeah.
itself, but don't play games with review manipulation policies. Read the seller code of conduct very, very closely.
Yep.
Um, there's a
And
few
reread it.
bullets, and reread it. There's a few bullets nestled right in the middle of all the things they tell you you have to do and can't do about contacting buyers in inappropriate ways,
Yeah.
like getting their email address, getting their shipping address, sending them stuff that they didn't order, getting them to scan QR codes and go off into some other promotion. Those, anything like that is considered really, really bad right now.
Mhm.
Major league. I mean, I know people have been suspended for review manipulation for years. Again, with their zero tolerance policies, and this is not just my opinion or conjecture.
Mhm.
People on calls that work for Amazon will say things like zero tolerance, or we think you were diverting the buyer to a different sales process. They use very specific, concrete language in a world where they never give specific and concrete
Yeah.
language. So when they're quoting to you like this, imagine how serious they are. We can speculate on the reasons. Is the FTC blowing them up? Is it the antitrust lawsuit? Is it something else? I think that's speculation. I think Amazon's just sick of the whole product review abuse problem, and they're just using these sweeps to rectify it.
Yeah.
So
So I know that there's can't remember the fella's name, but there's a guy that's over the AI and LLM and for detecting these fraudulent reviews,
Hmm.
and they stop many, many, many millions of reviews, and yet many, many, many millions still get through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Um,
I'm in the business. Like I
I do.
help detect and remove these negative reviews that violate Amazon's terms of service. And like I don't have a clear escalation path. We've invented one, but yeah. Um, well, Chris, thanks. This has been super helpful. It's like I love it's been fast paced and that your experience certainly lends well because you've got the answers to the questions. So, where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, I mean, especially with Q4, time is
Yeah,
short, emergencies cost you more.
yeah,
The best thing is probably to email me. It's just Chris at ecommerceChris, CHRIS at ecommercechris.com. Um, Again, with as many details as possible. You don't have to show me every appeal you've ever done since you were born, but it's good to know kind of how many times you've been rejected. Have you not appealed it yet? What's Amazon's original message to you? What have you learned from account health? That just kind of helps cut the timeline in terms of the triage.
got it.
Um, and yeah, with everything that we see going on, most of the appeal denials, but all of the curveballs Amazon likes to throw, I think this October and this November are going to be a lot of chaos and strife. I hope that's
Really?
not true.
And
Um,
I hope that's not true as well,
but
but it always
don't
is.
just appeal over and over hoping for the best. It's like, don't keep, if you're stuck after a couple appeals, don't keep going after it. We tell people, like, you got to just decide to change course at that point.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah. We'll see you in Seattle.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.